Hello, mortgage coaches. This is Jacob with the product and support team. I'm very excited today to announce some new features that we were able to deliver based on your demands. So first I want to go over a quick section on how you can suggest new features, because this is the way we make our product better. When you go to our help center, and you can do this from clicking help within Mortgage Coach, or you can click the little bubble and then go to the site. But once you land on our knowledge base, there's an area down at the bottom here called suggest new features or vote on your peers' suggestions. And when you go in there, you're going to see there's a lot of people who have made many suggestions, and we've got lots of responses in there. Some of them are planned, but the ones I'm pointing out today are the ones that are completed. So there have been a couple of requests, and then some have gone into our idea pool as well for some new enhancements on the seller buy down presentation. These enhancements will be to add the cost to the seller and the net seller proceeds on there, but we're also giving you a way to enter the cost of the seller inside of the wizard. So we're going to take a look at that real quick here, but I did want to make sure you guys were all aware of how to suggest new features. So make sure you're able to get into this system. You are going to need to log in when you get to the support center in order to be able to post a comment or vote on other people's comments. But let's take a look at the new features. Now, for any partner or any borrower, when you get to the presentation screen, you have the option to choose seller buy down. Now, I'm doing it on the partner side right now, so you can see the co-branded version of this. But when you select seller buy down now and hit the next arrow, you're actually going to see some new features in here. Now, you should be used to seeing the amount of the price credit, traditional rate, change in rate, rate after buy down, and percent of income to qualify, but there's a new one here called seller paid points. And what this is we're asking you, how much is it going to cost the seller to do this price drop? So in this case, we're saying it's going to cost the seller 2 points to do a 3/4 point drop in rate. Now, when you enter the amount of the price credit, usually I like to make sure that this is about equal to what it would cost them to do the rate credit. So if you hover over the seller paid points, it'll actually tell you how much those cost. So if you want to, you can take and put something close to that in the amount of the price credit field. Now, another option you have here is you can see we've got our default names that come in here on the column names, but you now have the option to change these names. So we can call this one drop by 10K, and maybe buy down the rate. And then I'm going to leave price versus rate because I think that kind of makes sense. But when you proceed forward and go to your preview, make sure to choose an image, by the way. When you get to your preview, set a quote date on it. Make sure to select the notification so you get notified when this is viewed. If you want to also have your partner get notified when this is viewed, check the box here. If you don't see this box, it just means that there's no email in the partner contact field. So if you put an email in there, you'll have this box available, and your partner will also receive the same notifications you do when this is viewed. But let's take a look at the output now. When you click preview, this is going to bring up the new seller buy down presentation. So you can see the top level looks pretty much the same. We've got our co-branding up there. We've got our stock verbiage up at the top, and we've got our property image. Now, where the new changes take place is down in the bottom of the seller buy down flyer. Now, we've always had this price reduction field. So you can see that in this drop by 10K, and there's our new label names, by the way. This drop by 10K, we're showing a $10,000 price reduction, and you should be used to seeing this. The two new fields are the cost to the seller and the seller net proceeds. Now, the cost to the seller line is going to show you basically what is it going to cost the seller to either drop the price or buy down the rate. So there's that $9,000 we saw when we hovered over the seller paid points. And you can see in the price versus rate column, that's how much they would need to drop the price in order to get the same savings they would get on a rate buy down. So pretty staggering there. That's a 4-to-1 drop right there. Now we get into seller net proceeds. What's the ultimate result for the seller on this? Well, if they sell at full price, which we all know is not moving right now, otherwise we wouldn't even be suggesting the seller buy down, their proceeds are going to be full asking price, of course, minus the realtor, both sides of the commissions. But we don't ask for commissions, so we'll leave that part out on this one. Now, on the drop by 10K, this is going to be the listing price minus the $10,000. So they've reduced their listing price. That's their proceeds right now. On buy down the rate, it's costing them $9,000 for the points, so their ultimate proceeds are at $451 here. Now, price versus rate, if you're not familiar with this column, this is the most powerful column on the seller buy down flyer. This is showing how much they would need to drop this price to get the same savings they would on a rate buy down. And you can see that the end result on this, they'd need to go down to $420,000 instead of their 460 asking price. They need to drop their price $40,000 to get the same borrower savings as they would get with a $9,000 cost for a rate drop. So this is your real selling point right here. We've clarified it now so we can actually show cost to the seller and seller net proceeds. So have at it. Get out there and make it happen. Now, one thing I would suggest is anytime you're doing a seller buy down, make sure to fill out your payment notes. You can see here I've just shown that payments include taxes and insurance and so forth, but I also put in a little verbiage there that says the price versus rate column shows how much the seller would need to drop the price to get the same borrower savings as the rate buy down. I would encourage you to put something like this in your payment stream or in your payment notes as well. You can do that on the very first screen of the presentation where you select seller buy down. This is where your payment notes are. So feel free to put some detailed verbiage in here. This is going to show up in the feature at the very bottom here. It's expandable too, so you can actually put a pretty good sized paragraph in here. But if you have any questions on this, please do contact our support team, support@mortgagecoach.com. Just let us know how we can help. And make sure also, if you come across new things that you'd like to see, put it in the suggest new features. Now, this is not for bugs, by the way. If you have a bug report or something like that, send it to support and we'll make sure and get that taken care of. This is all for new feature requests. Thank you very much and have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.